Hi, I'm Margaret. Hope you've had a good week. Today I've got a lovely old-fashioned recipe for you. It's a strawberry jam roly-poly pudding, and it's lovely with custard. First thing to do is to butter the baking paper that you're going to wrap your roly-poly pudding in. When you cut the paper, make it a bit bigger than you think you're going to need, because you can always cut it down later. This has got to be one of the easiest recipes. Dry ingredients first, give it a mix, add your caster sugar, just a tablespoon, pour in the milk, and there you go. Easy. This mixture can be a bit sticky, so you do have to use plenty of flour. Sprinkle a bit of flour onto the mixture before you even pick it up, and make sure your hands have plenty of flour on them too. Keep picking the dough up, making sure it's not stuck to the board already, and pop a little bit of flour under. It does no harm. Roll it out to a rectangle, as near as to a rectangle as you can anyway. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. We like that rustic look. If your jam has come straight out of the fridge, it does no harm to give it a little microwave, just a few seconds. It spreads far more easily. Leave a border around the outside of the jam. This makes it a bit easier to roll up your roly-poly later on. Roll from the short end and lift it with your fingertips as you go. That stops the jam moving from one side to the other. The seam needs to be down when you put it on the baking paper. Now this is going to expand in the oven, and it needs somewhere to go so it doesn't burst out of the paper. So we put a fold or a pleat in the baking paper, so it has extra room to do that. I found out, by trial and error, that my baking foil wasn't quite wide enough to do this job. So I need to join two pieces with a really tight seam. I was always told to put the shiny side of the foil towards the food. It makes sense if you think about it, because it reflects the heat back onto the food. Check your pudding is still tightly wrapped. Now we're going to need a pleat in this as well. The edges are a bit tatty, so let's just cut this straight. scrunch it together, making sure that your pleat is still working, and tie the edges with a really good twist. This pudding cooks best in a steamy atmosphere, so I'm using one of my old baking tins, half filling it with boiling water at the oven, on the oven shelf below the pudding. Let it cool a bit for a few minutes, just so you can touch it. Oh, look at that lovely jam oozing over the top. There's a nice bit of browning there too on the surface. All you need to do now is heat up the custard and get ready for a treat. Well, it was round about now that I started to wonder if it tastes this nice with jam. I wonder what it'd taste like with golden syrup. Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out. Well, syrup being as runny as it is, you need to work quite quickly because it will spread. Spread it yourself a little and then quite promptly start to roll. It's very important with syrup that you lift it as you go so it just covers. Oh, it did come out nice. All caramelised edges and lovely gooey syrup inside. The trouble is, I'm now wondering which one's the nicest. The lovely golden syrup with the caramelised edges, or the jam, all soft and spongy with that lovely jammy flavour. I don't know, syrup or jam? Syrup, jam, maybe the syrup or the jam. Oh, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide. Have a good one. Catch you next week.